watermelon, plain yogurt, and grapes for breakfast. Yummy. Yeah, welcome back to My Life with Plants. I'm Newman. I'm going to try to get out some of these cattleyas. Started growing as cuttings. They grow and then they don't grow. This one is on a mount. We just gave it a water, and this is its newest growth that it's put out for the summer. Started to grow and then it's kind of slowed down a little, and it still has its 4 canes on here. I think it lost one during the winter, and it has put roots onto this branch here, just from a maple tree. That's that one. We bought 3, one of them died. Okay, this one. It's just not easy to get in and out. It's all because of the lack of space. This one I'm pretty certain has Walkeriana, just by going how short the pseudobulbs are, or canes, and how obovate the leaves are. And it has pushed out this new growth here, and it did try to grow one a couple of times in winter, but it aborted them. And the reason why I did that was the temperatures got pretty cold and then they got warm. It kind of went up and down like that, and it didn't really like the cold. It didn't kill it, it just made it abort the new growth. Part of its survival strategy. And it's doing fine. I mean, this new growth is really coming along well, and it has found its way into the basket here of pumice, and I don't know if it likes it or not. That sounds like a big cicada banging around up on the balcony. Whether it likes to attach its roots or not onto the pumice, I don't know. I did watch the plant propagator the other day, and I got a first on recognition or proof that cattleyas don't like growing their roots on lava rock. And he was doing a repot of a division he wanted to make for a friend in one of his episodes, and as he took the orchid out, it had formed a whole lot of roots that only went down a quarter of the way into the terracotta pot, and then in the bottom he noticed that none of the roots actually wanted to grow onto the lava rock, or they avoided it. And I was thinking it might be the same case with this, because it's kind of rough. But the trees that they grow on are not exactly smooth, are they? Pretty corky, rough trees they grow on in nature. Alright, put it back. Like so. While we're at it, we're going to take out a few more. Oh. Yeah, this one's just falling out everywhere. That's why I got the twist ties around it. It's getting very tall. It's got its new growth here. Plus, this is one to put out in winter, and this is one it's putting out in summer. So this will carry the new inflorescence for the winter, and it has reached the edge of the pot. And that's Cattleya beringiana, and to repot this one, I'm going to wait until the new roots start growing out of the new cane here. So it usually just pushes out a lot of growth, but it doesn't grow any new roots until the winter starts. And then I would just put this whole pot into another one so that I don't damage the roots, because as I've heard, these bifoliates have a tendency to be set back for years and years if you disturb their root system. However, they are very, very tough once they have established themselves in their pot. What's remarkable is that this one is just growing in sphagnum, so it's a bit of a drinker, likes to drink a lot. You might saw a bit of a ripped up leaf there, but that happens. These plants are getting so big. Okay, the next one is the Dendrobium speciosum X gracilicol, and did put out all these new canes here, but they don't seem to have any inflorescence coming out. So I'm not quite sure about this one. I thought it was going to flower, but all it's done is just put out 3 new canes. And that's about it from this guy. Whether it's ever going to flower or not, I'm not sure. Might flower in the spring, but what's interesting about this one is that it actually went it did a whole winter outside, and it didn't lose one leaf, one cane, nothing. Nothing was lost. And all I have is some burlap wrapped around it each night. I was expecting something, but nothing. Nothing's growing. No new buds. There's no new buds there, so it must be a winter or early spring flower. Okay, something neat is this dendrobium here. It's been doing really, really well, and it has a white flower with a dark pink center. And it's been growing very, very well. It's growing in sphagnum moss. It has put out a lot of new growth. And the one down here, this is the one that I've been having a struggle with. I've got some kind of something on the leaves here, like a bacteria. However, it has managed to push out some new growth here. We've got two here, another one coming, one here, a couple of new canes here. And a couple of new canes, four new canes over that side. Plus I see some more growing in there. Alright. So, amazingly, a Dendrobium kingianum can be a pain in the butt. Yeah, once you get a fungal spores on a plant, it's hard to get rid of them. They seem to proliferate in the plant forever. And this one just has to overcome it, get stronger. So there's one thing that I can say is that when I did repot it, I repotted it into this bark, and I don't remember if I played around with the root system or not, but that could have been a big mistake, because it hasn't wanted to grow very well after that. And there was one year where it was in, got a lot of direct sun, and it hated it, or in this climate anyway. Because here you get the mean temperatures in the summer of over 35. And this plant doesn't like it. And another dead bulb. It's kind of stinky too. I'm going to cut that off. Stinky dead bulb. And yet, oh gosh, these plants have a they have the ability to flower from the old stems. yeah, I'm hoping it'll pull through and become a much better plant. There's some signs there that it's trying to grow back. There's another one I can get out. Just slide this off. Without breaking anything. You know what it's like. Plants get hooked up and you wonder where they're hooked up. You poke your head in and around there and you just can't see. Alright, this one's going very well. And it's an unnamed Cattleya. Although I did probably get the name and I put it somewhere. It's a bifoliate. It has similar flowers to Beringiana. But it isn't a Beringiana, I can tell. It doesn't have the bulbs at the bottom. And this one's growing 2 new canes. It has a nice root system. It's growing in sphagnum, and I don't overwater this one because I've learned about Cattleyas. Even though it shows these bulbs to shrivel a little bit, there's one thing it hates. That's water around the roots all the time. So every now and then, every few weeks, I'll give it a good thorough watering. And all the other times I just use my pressure waterer. Give it a shot of water. Not too much. Yeah, remembering that it's an epiphyte. So it likes to have drier roots. Except for this Beringiana. This Beringiana likes the water. And I gotta put it back somehow. Is it possible? You may be wondering why I am putting it in this particular area. This thing just blows over very easily. And I need some way of keeping it up so it doesn't do a nosedive. Okay, that's the way. And then it has its twist ties to keep it from falling onto the other plants. And that will do it. Probably the one thing that's annoying about orchids is that you have to have all of this growth and foliage in order for them to put out a new cane or something for them to flower again. And a lot of people that I watch, they want to turn theirs into specimen plants. But they accumulate so much space. You could have huge amount of area, and probably the best thing that I can do is just hang these guys underneath the trees in the garden, and just quit this annoying process of putting them in and out of a little tight spot on a balcony so that they can do that. But a lot of the growers I know, they don't bother trying to turn cattleyas into specimen plants whatsoever. They grow them just for the flowers, so that means that they cut them. They'll cut those plants in half quite often, so that they have no more than 4 to 5. When they get to about 6, they'll cut it in half again. So they just, I mean, if you really think about it, I'm not doing myself a favor by trying to grow these things bigger. So once this one reaches the edge of the pot, that'll be a cutting. Yeah. And that one down there, that one's almost ready to divide again. I think I'm going to follow that. Except for Bovingiana, that one wouldn't like a chop at all or fiddling with the root system, so I guess in the future, you see all of this growth here, right? It's never going to do anything. It just grows and it's just going to stay there. It's never going to make flowers or anything like that, so why keep it? We keep all of that. And the Dendrobium kingianum, you keep the old bulbs because they produce more flowers. So that's an exception. And if you just want big, beautiful, sweet-smelling flowers, then stick some epidendrums in your collection. Okay, once you have a nice, large epidendrum, you're going to have more flowers in amongst your orchids. Because you've got to have hundreds and hundreds of orchids to be able to have anything flowering. But I notice epidendrums will flower for you, as long as you've got a large enough specimen, which this one is not quite. It's got another year to go. And of course, Vandas, right? There's monopodial Vandas. And this one's a great one because it clumps from the bottom rather than up high, and it's a mini. Yes, if you live in the tropics there, have a lot more of those Vandas because they flower even more. We've got the flowers going over on this mini cattleya here. Still got one open. Am I even looking at it with the camera? Where are we? Oh, there we are. That's its last one. And I'm hoping that this twisted thing, it's got the laelia in it, and it flops and grows everywhere. I'm hoping that it'll have a flower so I can actually see it. And there's the sheath there. And this Young Kong is a sheath here. You see it? Growing out of this new cane. I did give these a good watering a few days ago, and I just gave it a quick mist on the top here, nothing else. Yeah, this is the latest growth on the Epicattleya. I think it's the Epicattleya Epidendrum cross or something. Renee Marks. It's looking much healthier this year. It's got nice green leaves. Tends to have spots and stuff like that on it. It can't be helped. It's a shame it doesn't have any fragrance, but they are magnificent flowers. Okay, and this speciosum. Can I get it out without breaking it? That Dendrobium kingianum bulb was rather stinky when it oozed out of my fingers. Alright, this one's growing very well now. Pretty happy. It's got that new cane coming out. It's got a new one coming out there. It's growing in sphagnum. I don't overwater the sphagnum at all. I just treat it like moss. You can imagine a nice moist moss, but not, you can kind of squeeze it and it just feels moist. That's about it. I don't try to overwater this whatsoever, and if I do, it's to flush all the salts out and everything that's accumulating, because we use fertilizers. And in the bottom third there is polystyrene or styrofoam chips, because I don't need to grow that deep. But so far so good. It's looking nice and healthy. Dendrobium kingianum white. Why am I growing something so basic and familiar? Because they grow well and they give me flowers without any beefs. Yeah, that's why. Alrighty, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that close-up of some orchids that have been growing on mounds and checking out how they're going. Yep, everything I showed you is doing well enough. We've seen that one in a other video when I just showed you with a flower, but it is still putting out new canes. One there, one there. It's going to be up for a division, which I'm going to hate doing that. So instead of dividing it and screwing it all up and setting it back for years, I'm just going to cut the growth that has gone over the side of the pot, and I'll give that away to my friend. She's a bit worried about it. She said, mini cattleyas, well, they tend to die on me, she said. They're not as hardy as the ones that she has, which are these kind of like Beringiana and these other hybrids, and that Blue Heaven. They are really the toughest. And if you want to know what are the strongest and toughest and hardiest of the orchids, you can go to collectors. They know very well. And if they're a much older generation, they probably don't have those difficult ones anymore, or they have specific climate, and it's just too difficult for us to be able to do that. Yeah, they have a very specific climate, kind of like bulbophyllums. You don't see any here anymore because they live in the cloud forests, high elevations, 1,000 meters up. There are some that are lower down, but they got these conditions that I can't mimic, and that's keeping it around 25 degrees, not letting it go under 5 degrees in the winter. All of my temperature ranges just blow right past that, and as you know, we get temperatures that are 35 degrees and over. We've had some that have even gone to 41 a few weeks back, and no matter where I put them, or even if I put them inside in the air-conditioned room, at some point the air conditioner has to be turned off, and then that is the beginning of their demise. They do not like heat, and if you do have success with them and you're living in the tropics, you found a neat little ecological niche, or you found a little ecoclimate within your property, and don't move them from there. It's my suggestion. Once they're doing really well in a specific spot, don't move them all to a new spot. Try to just move one at a time, because you never know, they might not like it. And remembering that the heat, they hate that. Yeah, okay, and that's all from me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Who said Phalaenopsis like temperatures over 30 degrees? Because they don't like it one bit, they hate it. Can you see this? Look at it. This plant is dying. This one is heading in the same direction. I actually cut the stem last year, started to grow nicely. During the winter, that is, with very, very mild temperatures that go down to about 10 degrees, and they go up to about 20. We're expected to have temperatures around 34 degrees today, and it's these high temperatures that keep slowly, little by little, stressing the Phalaenopsis. They grow in a climate that doesn't get any hotter than 25, possibly 28 at a maximum. Growing down underneath the canopy in forests in Malaysia and everywhere. And what keeps the temperature, look, we just dropped that leaf off, look. It's not supposed to do that. And what keeps it cool in there is because they are jungles. So they have a good green canopy over the top, plenty of water. And even if I keep this, which I might, it may never flower unless I keep it in the living room, which has an air conditioner during the summer. So they get the air conditioner during most of the day, and those ones in there can get through the summer. Yes. Ugh. I'm just going to go inside and have a look inside this pot. Let's see what's going on. Sorry about the noise. But in here in Japan, they have a lot of Phalaenopsis growers. That's all they grow, I think. They might have other things that they grow, especially during the winter months. But they have air conditioning. You know what it's for? Well, it's to keep the temperatures a little bit above 10 degrees during the winter, maybe 15. And the other reason is to keep them cool, because they do not like heat. They don't like it. In actual fact, a lot of people that grow in apartments and that in Russia and a lot of the northern European countries, they love these. They have central heating and everything. They just do so well because they get everything that they need. They get that constant mild temperatures. Okay, so if you want to know what temperatures over 30 degrees feel like in a tropical country, then you ought to go to areas like that and see if you can find Phalaenopsis growing. I guarantee there won't be any growing in those areas. Alright, this one is possibly can survive, and The other thing is that I really don't have anywhere for it to grow. I don't have anywhere. I have no space. It's the other thing about when you purchase plants, make sure that you have space for them. Have a plan. Alright, so the sphagnum moss, instead of wasting it, I'm going to put it into the garden. So it won't be a minute. It will be a minute. Okay, so obviously this one is, even if I was to try to keep growing it, it's going to die because of the heat. This one has the potential to actually grow and develop flowers. So I'm just going to think about it. Oh yeah. I could find a spot for it, but it's very unlikely. Even the pink jumbo Phalaenopsis I have, that one has enough of a struggle. Being in the bedroom, it experiences temperatures are right up in those 30s, and every year that goes on it survives. I think I'm lucky, because it doesn't look too good. Okay. Anyway, that's it. Right, do you actually want to see how I set this camera up? I'm going to do something crazy. Now I was like looking at this and I noticed that it's pretty healthy. So I'm going to try and keep it alive. I found this nice branch that had been cut off the maple tree that was getting attacked by ants, and I'm going to try to put this around it. This is just an old onion bag. Hopefully I can stretch it up over this. I could hang it the other way. And I wouldn't have to stretch this over it. There you go. I save these onion bags and I do this, and you can probably guess why. So all the dust and everything doesn't fall out onto the floor. It's just going to help a little bit to keep it tidy. Tie it off. Remind me again why I'm doing this. I can't give up on it. Alright, while we're here, we're going to give it a bit of a chop. This is part of its old mirror stem. As you can see here that it has some viable roots. Give it a quick clean up. Get rid of anything that's not growing too well as far as roots are concerned. I've never tried mounting a Phalaenopsis, and I know a lot of the viewers out there who live in the tropical areas like Florida. Mounting them is always the best thing, even for a fowl. So all of these roots here are pretty good. I'm going to keep them. Got a lovely brass hook. Look at that. So I can hang it, and a couple of gigantic zip ties that hopefully go all the way around this. Yep, they can just make it. Something like that. This is going to turn out to be a problem. Will the plant survive? Will it not? Will the things go on in your head? Going to make the commitment now. It's on. That's one. Put another one on. Try this one on here. Oops. Clumsy ass I am. Just break a root. Oh no, my incense coil has died out. All the vampires are going to come. Oh. Oh. Just the camera dropping out. Finally, it fell out. Something like that. And that's it. All done. Be interesting to see how this does. I'm going to put a hook in it somewhere up the top. Possibly up here. Well, you're pretty tough. You're gonna have to get the drill out to start a hole there. But anyway, that's it so far. I might actually show you what it looks like when it's hanging up. So I'm going to do a bit of a clean up here and I'll get back to you. Right, I hang the Phalaenopsis in this driveway, and I know everyone's looking at it and thinking, why are you not hanging more orchids in there? Come on, what are you doing?